Cunt-Faced was the product of boredom in an empty town. Newquay's schizophrenic nature sees it shift from a summery stag and hen meat market to a desolate winter ghost town, which leaves residents to form their own entertainment. One cold December night, inspired by internet filth and a barely known noise band named Bear Trap, 4 tipsy friends met at an isolated home in Cornwall for a jam. There they farted out the music that would eventually become a giant public poo, smeared across the faces of 10,000 horrified onlookers.
I remember Dave wanted to start a band called Cunt-Faced because it would be funny.
Dave thought that these pictures he'd found on the internet of a child with a vagina for its mouth were hilarious.
Well, yeah, we started at Dave's garage. It was just a bit of a muckabout, really.
It was all made to sound like it was live.
And the first song name I ever came up for it was Put Your Hand In.
It's worth what's called Put Your Hand In.
Which was a quote from League of Gentlemen about a practical joker in which you have to put your hand in a box and then it electrocutes you or something. And we just decided to make a horrible, crappy racket.
I took the audio back home, stuck the audio of thousands of people on it and things like that, and yeah, that's it. So we called it Live at Gay Fest. A pretty good festival name there, I think.
And then legends were born.
We got it!
It was sort of like, what should we do tonight kind of thing, and we realised, it's Tuesday, there's an open mic night on at Newquay's Walkabout, which is quite a pretty good stage, really.
Everyone was going on doing sort of little acoustic numbers, just which was fine, everyone's doing their thing, but if you want to play Wonderwall for the 18th time,
And then Bibby came up with the idea of something we should do that evening, which was to do a live thing of Cunt-Faced.
I got a phone call from Bibby and said, let's go down, just go a bit mental on stage, and yeah, from there.
It was quite a spontaneous idea, and it was like, oh, shall we do that? That could be quite funny. And it was like, oh, I don't know, shall we do it? It's either going to go down really well or really, really badly. So
we just thought, wouldn't it be fun if someone went up there and just had a real good crack and just, made people laugh and just went a bit mental on stage. So we thought, you know what, let's do it,
We kind of psyched ourselves up for it by doing interviews in character, which we kind of made up on the spot, both the characters and the answers to the interviews.
That was actually my first ever gig. That's the first gig we ever done. And I have no fear about getting up in front of cameras and audience. I've done speeches before and stuff like that, but I've never actually played live.
So even though at first I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it, once I got up there, I just absolutely loved it.
a lot of residents of Newquay and people that come here, the last thing they expect is extreme noise and blast beats and obscene vocals. So it's great. Newquay's the best place for it, really, because people don't know what to hit them.
Yeah, it was a really unique experience doing that, because I've been in bands before, but I'd never done something that felt so free. We could just do anything. It didn't matter how awful it sounded, it didn't matter how structureless, how retarded any of it was. It was just complete freedom, which was ace. And you can hear me saying things like, I want this to last forever in the lyrics that I was making up as the songs were being played.
The first gig was great, everyone was clearly having a laugh, so good.
As the tourist season drew on, the clubs became busier and the audience's reaction became more volatile. The third and fourth gigs revealed just how strongly cunt-faced, polarised and bewildered spectators, with their senselessly awful racket and deeply offensive lyrics. The majority of those watching seemed to get it and realised that what they were seeing was as much a practical joke as it was a gig. However, there were also those that failed to recognise the humour and did all they could to sabotage the gigs, using jeers, threats and even dangerous retaliation.
I'm Adam, this is Foxy. We run the open mic night in Newquay, Cornwall. We have done for several years.
Many years, too many years.
When we played the third gig, we sort of sat round a corner so we could get dressed and ready, sort of away from the bar and the dance area and things like that. And every 10 minutes we'd just look over to see how busy it got.
It progressively became busier and busier, and I did actually become quite uncertain of whether it was a great idea to be doing such an incredibly offensive thing.
I was never nervous. The only time I was a little bit nervous was when we did it in front of smaller crowds. I don't really know why, but when there's a big crowd, I'm totally fine with it.
I'd say about 500, 600 people were there, so when we got on stage I was a bit meh, you know.
We'd already kind of talked about what we were going to do, but I think that I hadn't told anyone what the song titles were going to be.
This first song's called Margaret Thatcher's Got Senile Dementia and a Learner.
I think we offended the audience pretty early on. They might not have understood that during the first song I was saying rape over and over again. By the second song, Dog Hammer, which is just a wall of noise, I think they were pretty fucked off with us, and I think that was the point when a bunch of probably football supporting borderline retards started shouting and jeering.
Because I just find it funny, you know, that someone would actually, you know, stop their conversation to start booing and chanting us off, doing chants like "You're shit and you know you are."
Who are you?
And just off. And it's just funny.
Just chavs in the summer, so that's gonna happen. They don't understand it.
Off, which was a fair enough comment, I suppose. But it just got us playing up to it even more. I knew I was going to do the Inspector Gadget song, which went down like a ton of shit. But then the people at the front, there was a group of about 5 people who were just loving it.
But yeah, when everyone's going crazy in front of me, it's just fun.
Things just turned around like that. I mean, went from boos to, you know, complete cheering and things. Which is good because to play at Walkabout, it's a bit, you know, you feel a bit rude sometimes doing it, but as long as you can put on a good show, you feel that, you know, you're up there for a reason and they were happy with it and you're happy with it, so.
Gig 4 was up there in terms of busyness with the third gig. Absolutely packed, height of summer, when the whole town just is alive with stag and hen parties.
I had a fair bit to drink, can't really remember it.
Started off the gig by saying that it wasn't going to be in the slightest bit offensive because we'd had lots of complaints about the last one being all about sexual assault.
Because I sort of dwelled a lot on sexual assault based lyrics, so this is going to be the least offensive gig ever. This first song's called Bring Me Your Interracial Kiddie Porn.
Generally speaking, we were getting really positive responses from people. I think most people got it. But once I gave birth to the baby out of the end of what was supposed to be my penis, and then suckled it on my nipple, people seemed to turn on us.
The baby out of the crotch thing was lovely.
I remember a couple of shot glasses being thrown and some pennies.
I remember having a drink thrown at me here.
Also, when people started throwing coins at us, like we even then we still egged them on to,
Crap shot! Through like a girlish child!
So we had to kind of say you might have to leave the stage because someone might get hurt.
And sadly, we had to finish early.
So I thought I'd have a bit of a pissy drummer fit. And because I drank a little bit, I threw the sticks around.
After having their fourth gig cut prematurely short, the band soon encountered further censorship. When they played a special Halloween set at a nearby surf bar, Cuntfaced quickly learned that they had been banned from playing at the pub again. By now they also had an online presence where they had expanded their uncompromising humour to include poor taste photoshopping and taboo baiting status updates. The band had become even more provocative and now refused to acknowledge boundaries of any kind. The question was, how far was too far?
I'm Sam from Sons of Cirrus and I play guitar.
I'm Bert from Sons of Cirrus and I play the bass.
Basically, we saw Cuntfaced on YouTube and we really appreciated what they were doing, and we thought we've got to do a gig with them.
I got a random text from someone whose number I'd never seen before, and it said something like, Cuntfaced are fucking awesome, lots of love, your biggest fan, or something like that.
We decided in a mellow state to phone them up in character to ask them to get a support slot for a gig.
I think you might have called them a cunt or something.
Right, we heard you like our band, and you know, if you ask us really nicely, really nicely, we'll come up and shit one of our songs out on stage.
If I'm honest, I hadn't paid it a lot of attention. I'd briefly seen on YouTube. There was only 3 of them, and I decided to join in. And that was it, really. I just decided to join in.
I'm Kara, I work on the Rocks, and I'm one of the bar supervisors. I think it was Sons of Sirius that were playing, and we didn't know that the other band were going to be playing, and then they came on.
If you didn't know, we are Cuntfaced.
And that was a proper supporting slot. It wasn't none of your open mic shit. This was the big time, baby.
This song's called Professional Rapist.
Packed Halloween night. Great night, what can I say? It was a brilliant reaction. A genuinely warm and enthusiastic and fun reaction from the whole crowd.
I don't know, it was more like, you know, watching the other people around us, like, you know, just cringe and fucking, you know, look a bit shocked, but, you know, it was pretty powerful stuff.
To be honest, I was expecting the bar to clear out, but it didn't. A lot of people sort of moved down to the front by the stage and enjoyed it, and they did start a bit of a mosh pit. I like the music side of it, but I didn't like the lyrics. I couldn't understand how they thought some of the stuff they were singing about was okay to sing about. And I did get worried that someone drinking was going to get offended and kick off.
And this one's called I Touched Your Mother While She Was Sleeping, but in the nicest possible way.
The set was pretty heavy.
We got an encore, you know, we didn't play it, but there was a request for one anyway, which was very neatly put down.
That was Cuntfaced! Now you know, fuck off!
I'm not really surprised that if the owner of the bar was offended, it didn't really matter if everyone else was enjoying it. Because what we do is, it is quite offensive for most people. I mean, everyone's heard the word cunt before, the word fuck before, the word rape before, but a lot of people aren't quite prepared for that sort of thing when they just go on a regular night out and they're expecting to see something melodic and something pretty sounding and just have a good, fun, Nuki style piss up.
Second to last song of the evening. It's called Pretty Fit for a Spaz. Hey.
That was good. That's a good. It was different, definitely different.
In what way?
Good, different, because no one else does what you guys do.
Whenever Cuntfaced play live, I personally think there's no point in doing it at all unless it's being filmed, because it is a complete public prank, really.
I was in a like semi-professional bands for 10 years or so, and you're constantly riding that edge of, am I doing it right? Oh crap, I've made a mistake. And just to switch all of that off, all the safety mechanisms, anything like that, and just go, I don't give a shit. I'm just going to play whatever I like.
It was raw, it was loud, and that's about it, really.
Yeah, it was pretty offensive.
Highly offensive.
Yeah, I think, it captured you.
We had a really good laugh, and I really love the, just especially when there's chaos, because for Cuntface to me, we're like an engine of chaos. It's a catalyst, if you will. I just love it when everyone's going fucking berserk.
It just adds a bit of something new, different to the night.
There's a lot of people out there that love Cuntfaced, and also hate Cuntfaced.
The point of it is that the lyrics go too far. The point of it is that the humour goes too far. That is the joke. That is the point. So asking whether anything's too offensive just completely fails to understand Cuntfaced. It fails to see the point behind it, because it is out of order, and that's it. That is the joke. It's shoving it in people's faces.
I've never put any boundaries on humour. Anyone that knows me knows I've got a very dark sense of humour. I don't care. When you start putting boundaries on humour, and you start saying, well, that's out of bounds, that's out of bounds, you can't talk about that, you can't talk about that. It's just pathetic, really. It's either everything or nothing. It's either you exist in a world where every dark and tragic incident has some sparkle, glimmer of comedy in there somewhere, it's got to, or you just live in a bleak, neutral existence where there is no high, there is no low, you just keep a constant plateau of emotionless crap, basically. It's got to be fun. There's got to be humour in everything, and if there's not, what's the point?
If anyone's able to be offended by anything, they'll probably be offended by Cuntfaced, because that's the point.
I don't think personal offence has a place in Cuntfaced. I don't think it does. Personal offence is much removed from it. It's not about targeting anyone in particular. It's about the taboo of saying the word rape. It's like the great brass eye, it's not the act or the crime itself. It's what surrounds it. It's the ridiculous taboo put on a certain word or put on a certain action or reaction to something. It's comedy at the end of the day. Where do you draw the line? I mean, at the end of the day, some of the crap they put on TV that's completely non-offensive offends me, just because money's being spent on it. Things like that, it's rubbish, pointless rubbish that, is no good for anyone. And if people find it funny, then fine, but don't put it in my face. And that's the same thing. If you don't like Cuntfaced, you walk out the room, you leave the bar, you don't carry on watching the YouTube video. If you don't like it, fuck off.
Cuntfaced were and are a unique and special band. By challenging the limits of obscenity, they urged their audiences to reflect upon the hypocrisy of taking offence. The band's view is that if any form of offensive humour is acceptable, then all forms are, because taking offence is, in essence, a personal decision.